All right, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the VeeFam Sessions. I am with the one, the only, Gentle Tornado. Gentle, how are you?
Phenomenal. Glad to be here.
I love it. I'm so pumped just to have you on, but just to have your energy. Like you are, like in the best way possible. You're just out of control. Like the absolute best way. I say that with nothing but love. Like you are a gentle tornado. Like
Yeah,
now, like the name really makes sense. Like it's a cool name, but like you do that. I say that all the time. Like, oh, like that's a really cool handle. Like you are an absolute. Like everything you speak about is, and we'll get into this, but all the good stuff, all the stuff we love to hear about, the gentle side. But you are just a raging ball of fire.
yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, I've had energy like this since I was a kid, so just harnessing it right now. And like earlier, Jeremy was doing a spaces, and Gary popped up, and I was actually with Jeremy in the very beginning of the space, and then my headset died. So I popped out and I popped back in, and Gary was in, and Gary left, and I got up on stage, and I just couldn't wait to explode just with excitement, dude. I was so pumped that Gary came up. That was Jeremy's first space where Gary came, so I was just like screaming in the mic.
I was so happy for him. I caught it late. Gary was just kind of wrapping up, but I'm excited to listen to it back. But with that said, I'm excited. I'm about to explode to have you on, and I can't wait to. I'm like a mellow guy. I'm like calm and cool and collected. But when I see your stuff, and I'm like, I feel like I need to elevate. So let's before we get into all that good stuff, let's take it back. Can you give everyone listening the kind of 55-second clip note version on who you are pre NFTs?
Pre NFTs, all right. From Las Vegas, grew up in Las Vegas, played a lot of sports as a kid. Dream was to play in the NFL football, and realized that was pretty far fetched, but it was a big dream, and so I played college football. That was a huge dream of mine, and tore my ACL. And the scholarship that I had, they pulled it the next day, so it was wild. Started the real life for me. Moved back home, started working for my dad, and worked for him ever since. And kind of like Gary's story, like started working for my dad, didn't like it, just doing it for him because he did everything for me. 8 years now, and he's starting to sell some of the business. So we're riding, and then NFTs I got into because of Gary. So it's a little short version.
I love that. Thank you. What are you doing? What kind of business? And I see you post a lot of your content, or most of it from work. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm running a franchise for Snap-on Tools.
Okay.
It's the largest tool company in the world. The only tool company that still makes the tools in the U.S.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
We're getting a well-rounded education here. And what level of ball did you play in college?
So I played at a junior college, and my second year I had a full ride to a D1. And second to last game was when I tore my ACL, and they pulled my scholarship on a Sunday morning.
Oh, I mean that's a life-altering thing. Like, how were you as a positive of a person back then? Like, because that's a real blow. Like, how'd you take that?
Yeah, it was pretty intense, to be honest. The ACL tear was very intense for me. I was out of state, so it was a lot of loneliness, depression. But I got out of that pretty fast. I had really good physical therapists. And then I just was like, man, I'm probably not going to make it. So I was like, it's fine. I'll have humility. I'll move back home. I'll move on with my life. One of my goals was to play college football. So I felt like I had achieved my dream. So kind of my most of my life growing up was like, I had this one dream. I was a pretty happy kid. So like once I achieved that, I was like, I'll do whatever. And so that's where I fell into working for my dad. Cause I was like, he gave me the best childhood ever. Why not work for him? Even though I didn't want to, you know what I mean?
Right. Awesome. So, when was the first time you heard the name Gary Vee?
Oh man, probably 8 years ago.
And I have a little context on the story, but take us there. What were the What were the details of that? Was it a piece of content that still sticks out with you? Was it a podcast, YouTube, Instagram?
Yeah. So my best friend Kyle showed me Gary Vee. It was just kind of funny. He was working for my dad too, and he just came on my truck one day and he was like, "Dude, you got to see this guy. Like, I just been following this guy for 6 months." Showed me the first video was 400 trillion to one. Literally changed my life. Uh, Catapulted me forward for sure. Then ever since then, I've been religious. Religion. Gary's my religion.
I'm a maxi myself. So that's interesting that you remember, because a lot of people don't remember the actual piece of content. They remember how they felt when they heard the content, when they saw the content. But that's a very impactful one. Can you just give a quick synopsis for anyone that might not know that? Explain what 400 trillion to one is, because I think it's very important.
Yeah, so the video, Gary says, he talks a lot about complaining, and then he talks about the chances of being born are 400 trillion to one. And he says that you're more likely to win the lottery 10 times in your life. So for me, I was like, I cannot complain another day in my life. Like, I feel so grateful, so blessed to be alive. Just even get the opportunity, and just started the ground running from there.
Amazing. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's on like the greatest hits album. When inevitably something like that comes out, that's on it. Amazing. So you just you drank the Kool-Aid, like many of us listening, and you just bought into everything. So you got on the podcast. You just you took the prescriptions, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I was listening to everything after that, and it's kind of funny because I think I ended up listening to Gary more than my friend Kyle. And so I committed way more to Gary, and he helped me take my business to the next level. Like, things that I could have never achieved without his advice.
And this is Doughboy we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Doughboy.
Shout out to Doughboy out there,
Yeah.
part of the gang, part of the Las Vegas gang. So you follow him. Is he the person that got you into NFTs, or were you dabbling in this before he brought up the word VeeFriends?
No, absolutely not. He announced it in I think November. He started talking about it. 2019, no, it was 2020. I don't remember, but it was like November. He was like, "Hey, you guys should be buying ETH. Just buy ETH. I'm coming out with a project." I'm like, "What's ETH?" I just had my second child. It was wild. I was like, "Dude, whatever, Gary. Like, I'll take a break." And then April was around my birthday. He's like, "Hey, I'm launching this." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I believe in Gary. I'd die for him. I need to buy some ETH." And so I bought. That was when ETH was 4,000. So I bought $2,000 worth of ETH. Took 13 days to transfer to my wallet. All the cores sold out. So I was like, I'm not missing this. There's not a chance. So I bought $2 more thousand worth of ETH. Basically, all I had saved. This was like the craziest moment, and got kind of the pick of the litter from the rares. They got down to 1 ETH, and I actually picked up my rare balanced beetle the last day. They sold out that day. It was wild.
Wow. So you're throwing all this jargon and vernacular around, like cores, rare, but at the time, like, do you even know what you're doing?
No.
You're just like these, because I remember that, like, there was a lot of buildup, and we didn't even know what it was, and then the website came out where it was released, like what it was. Oh, this is called VeeFriends. Oh, these are child drawings, essentially, as a lot of people refer to them. So are you just like, how are you navigating this? I mean, P.S. It's like we're talking thousands of dollars here.
Yeah, so luckily my wife lets me do the finances, so she didn't really care too much. I'm transparent with her, so she knew exactly how much we were spending. She knows how much Gary had changed my life and our life, And so I was just like, I need to bet on Gary. I didn't even need to think about it. So, I was on the VeeFriends website every day waiting for my money to transfer. And so I was just looking at all the different characters, and I finally just decided, my wife was upstairs with me actually when we minted it. And I was like, which one should I choose? And she's like, I don't care, pick one you really like. And so balance in my life is something that I've always worked towards. I have to work towards still. And it means so much to me. So hindsight 2020, I didn't pick the best character, but I love it so much. It's not even funny.
I mean, everything it happened like it should have. It
Oh
turned
yeah.
into, and you still have that, correct?
Oh, 100%.
Amazing. So I mean, obviously you learn more about what these words meant, like, wallet and gas and things like that. And so how did you, because I know you're involved in a lot of projects and you're big and nifty, which I'd love to hear a little bit about because I'm very uneducated, but I know you're bullish in the community. So that's enough for me to listen closer. But so talk to me about your evolution into learning more about NFTs and getting into other projects.
Yeah, so immediately after I minted the Balance Beetle, I had no other money. So I was like, cool, I'll put this aside. I was like, I'm not going to worry about this for, I don't know, 5-10 years. Like, I'm not even worried about it. Gary will take care of me. And then I think it was like August, September. I was like, all right, Gary's talking about a lot. He's talking about punks. So I should probably get into what this is, this investment I bought, not really knowing. And so I started getting into it, got super excited, loved it, loved the communities. My first probably 3 projects were rugs. That was back when like Discord invites were the meta, where you had to invite a certain amount of people to get whitelist.
Sure.
Yeah, I was telling my family to create Discords. It was wild. Got into that, got more into trading in like November, December. Had some big hits, hit on brain vomits, got into some other stuff. And then January really catapulted. Like, I got really into it and I started trading more, started putting more money in. And I found the Nifty portal. It was like end of January, and that changed my life. Like, the information they give, the content they're doing, really catapulted into me where I'm at right now.
Can we unpack that a little, because I know this is a huge part of this podcast is talking about this community and why it's so special and how hopefully it's a blueprint for other communities. And I know you've mentioned a lot of your tweets how amazing, life changing the Nifty is. So could you just speak on that for a little bit? Like, if I'm thinking about aping in, like, what are you telling me?
Yeah, so they have a morning show that they do Monday through Friday. For an hour and a half in the morning, and they have on average, starting in January, probably about 800, but now they have about 1,200 to 1,500 live listeners every morning. So I got into that right away, started learning. Back in January, they do a YouTube show every day for about 30 minutes to an hour. So I actually found that when that Pixelmon scam happened. And one of the co-owners, Captain Kicks is his name, he bought like 5 of them. And I was like, any guy that buys 5 of these, I was like, this is my guy. I'm an all-in type of guy. He knew nothing about it, but he went all in. So I was hooked right away. Their content's pretty funny. And then I got into the community, and I used to listen to the spaces every day, and I would request every day to go up and speak. I didn't really go up in many spaces besides VeeFriend spaces. I remember in the early days, I was in a lot of Jeremy spaces. That was like when book games was so new. We used to talk all about that.
I remember. That's how you first came across my radar.
Yeah. So I used to go up into those, and then I would request every day on the Nifty. But, there's a lot of people in there, 1,000 people, pretty real speakers, up on stage. But I just kept requesting. And I'd probably been in the community for about 2 months. I think it was March. And I got up on stage and I just erupted. I was just like throwing people flowers. I was just lighting it up. And I remember, Nick, who's the owner, Nifty Nick, and he said, "You're not so gentle, Tornado," but you said nice words. And so I kind of started going up like once a week on stage, getting more into the community. I was never in the Discord. I don't have a lot of time to be in Discords. So I was never really in any Discords, a little bit of the VeeFriends. And so I started getting the Discord and I started learning the community, becoming super close. And then I don't know what happened. They made me a community star is one of their things in the Discord. And that like took it to the next level where people were like looking up to me. They're like, oh, Tornado. They all love me. They love when I get up on the spaces and I just go crazy and, talk about good energy and good vibes. And so Pio, one of the other owners, would bring me up pretty frequently. So one of the traders who's actually a partner now, his name is Easy Eats Bodega. His name is Ryan, but he's one of the best traders I've ever seen. I've been watching him since January. He's traded stocks since he was 16. He trades primary Solana, and we became close. So I thought it was cool because he was, in the community like firsthand with Nick and Pio, and so we got really close. And I was like, I called him one day, Discord audio. I didn't know you could even call people. I called him and I was like, listen, dude. I was like, I'm going to give you a VCon ticket. I was like, you need to be a VCon. I was like, Nick and Pio are going to be at VCon because Nifty Nick spoke at VCon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you have to be there. And he like lost his mind. He's like, there's no way you do something like this. Excuse me. And I was like, no, dude. I was like, you have to be there. Like the Solana owners are going to be there. Like you have to be at this event. I'm just like, I'm such a maxi. And a lot of people in the Nifty portal weren't Gary maxis. So it's kind of funny that I was just out here just preaching Gary and everybody's like, yeah, he's a scam artist.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. Thanks for including that. Cause it's always interesting how other people view it because it's very mixed. It's a very mixed bag.
Yeah, so like they all just thought he was a cash grabber at first, and so I had to educate them. Nick has actually known AJ since AJ was 21, I think, and he's known Gary for 12 years. And Gary was actually around when Nick sold like a company for like I don't know how much millions when he was 28, and Nick's now 40. And so I liked that Nick had known Gary, and Gary liked Nick a lot. And so I had to educate the community a little bit on like who Gary is, why you should buy his project because he's going to be doing this thing for the next 40 years. So that was cool.
And so what do they, sorry to interrupt, but like what does, because it's very easy to say that in our community, like in a Jeremy space, right, or in a Sal space, and people understand it, or if you knew, like you just kind of get it. How, like when you say something like that, because that's a huge statement. We know Gary. Yeah. Kind of. So we get it. Like, what does a whole other group of people, a whole other demographic think? Or like, what's their feedback when they say like, we're going to do this project for 50 years and mean it?
I think people don't believe it at first. The space moves so fast, but I think just educating them, telling them, hey, VaynerX is worth $1 billion. Like he's a real dude. He's entered Facebook, to all these companies. He's sold companies. He's been a part of massive deals, massive business deals. He runs a media company. Like we are in a marketing world right now, and just kind of concreting those things and then telling people like, hey, I bought my first VeeFriend for $4,000. I did absolutely nothing. I could have sold it for probably $100,000 in December. Right. And so it's like, showing them those things and educating them. And what's funny is like I was such a maxi, even when I would go on the morning show where people would just like give me shit. And I was like, sorry, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay,
of course.
Cool. Okay. And I finally stopped like shilling him. And I finally started telling people, this was probably like before VCon. I just started telling people like, look, I love Gary. I would die for Gary. I said, you can either buy this or not, but I just want my friends to win. I just started telling people that. I was like, I just want everybody to win. And this is the win that everybody needs in the space. And so that kind of changed it up and brought more people in. And I even convinced Easy to buy some VeeFriends 2s. And so that was a big accolade because he's a very fast trader. He does not hold anything long term. So anyways, we went to VCon. Nick and Pio were there. And then a bunch of people from the community actually ended up going because of me like advocating for it. And so we all met up and just got super close. I got really close with Nick and Pio. Really, I'm already close with Easy, super close with the community members. They had a Top Golf event there, which brought just the community even closer.
I saw one of your videos with him from there. Yeah. That's fantastic. So like that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right? Getting your community and getting your your guys or your girls or both.
Yeah.
Amazing. And on July 12th, you tweeted, "I am genuinely so happy when I see people win."
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it really,
Uh,
really for me is a big deal. It is a big deal, man.
I love it. And you definitely have that energy. So with that said, actually, let's go back. So when you said you were into a lot of spaces when, shit was bananas, February, March, book games were hot, we were leading up to more information about V2 and, trading and new characters, and there's a lot of good stuff going on. Did you catch like the arbitrage bug there? Were you deep in that? Or were you just kind of just doing your thing?
Was I like deep in the
Were,
book game stuff,
were
and you
you,
mean like
yeah,
that?
were you flipping, trading, trying to maximize to, positioning, maybe, I don't know, trying to get to another V1, flip up into a spec, anything like that? Or are you just kind of doing your thing?
Yeah, I was just kind of doing my thing. I was accumulating book games. I thought that was a big deal. Because I'd only bought 12 books. So I only got one for free, which happens to be a champagne. So I got super
Whoa,
lucky.
there we
Yeah,
go.
super lucky. So I was just gaining knowledge and then contributing what I could to the spaces. But like I said, I didn't have a ton of time, so I a lot of times my opinion was just my gut feeling. It wasn't like I had been researching stuff. Um, so no, I just kind of just accumulated over time. I definitely knew that the book games at point two was a buy. They were definitely going to skyrocket. I didn't flip any because I had planned to get into the raffles and stuff, and the raffle for the VF2s was a big deal for me, wanting to get a bunch of friends list spots. So I didn't really play the flip game. I've actually never taken any money out of any of my NFTs, um, because for me it's like I don't even want to think about it. I almost think once I buy the ETH, it's gone. Like it's already spent, and I have long term holds that I don't even look at. But I don't want to have to rely on that money. Obviously, Gary says all the time, don't play with money you can't afford to lose, and that's kind of how I've stayed grounded in the space.
I love it. I love it. So, speaking of friends lists and V2 and things like that, on April 19th, 2022, you tweeted out, 7 years ago, my best friend introduced me to Gary Vee. It changed my life immediately. I started learning every day from Gary, and my life is 1,000 times better because of it. Last night, I gave my best friend, one of my two friends list mints from VeeFriends. And of course, we're talking about Doughboy. And so you post this video, and it goes bananas. Like, first of all, and I probably am just gonna clip it in right here, the audio on the podcast, but it was like goosebumps watching it. I mean, I personally watched it 5 times, and even Gary 2 days later tweets out. This is on the 21st, I believe. Where is it? He says, "In actual tears, friendship and love is everything." So talk to us about the maybe the backstory behind that even more than you tweeted, and then what that virality felt like. Because it's one thing to go viral, but it's another to, I'm sure it's on a whole different universe to have such an intimate moment, special moment for you and your all time best friend, like to have that.
Yeah, so my buddy Doughboy didn't buy a VF1, and so he had regretted that, and I just remember not wanting him to regret anything else. And I'm definitely more of a full sender in our relationship. I'll go for it, and so he didn't win any friends list spots. He didn't buy the books from the book games. I think he only had one book game token maybe, and I was like, I can't have this guy not get a VF2. I was like, there's no way he's going to go to public and get one. Like there's not a chance. I know, he wasn't that deep into the space to win a gas war. And I was like, dude, fuck it. I was like, I'm going to give him a VF2 unrevealed for his birthday, and I'm going to film it. And I honestly definitely didn't think Gary would see it. I definitely didn't want it to go, like I didn't plan it to go viral. That's not why I did
Sure.
it. I just wanted him to be a part of the V family. And he ended up having to sell his book game. I actually bought his only book game after he didn't win the raffle so that he could get to VCon. So he had nothing. And so I was like, dude, I have to give it to him. I was like, this isn't even about the money. It's never been about the money. I don't care about any of this. I want him to feel like he's in this family because he showed me this. I wouldn't even be here if he didn't show me this. And so our other buddy Primo, who I think you probably met at VCon, he was rolling.
Shout out to Primo. Primo's in our space right now.
Yeah, that's my dog. Him and Doughboy actually flipped their way to a VCon ticket, so shout out to them. And so I was like, Primo, I called him. So the 19th was the day before my birthday, actually. So the Tuesday before that was actually when VF1s we were supposed to get the VF2s. So I called Primo. I was like, Primo, I'm going to give Doughboy a VF2. I was like, listen, we're going to give it to him. We're going to film it. I'm going to surprise him. I'm going to airdrop it into his OpenSea. He's going to have no idea. We need to see. Like, I was like, he's going to cry. He's going to cry. I need to have this on film. I need to tell him how much he means to me. He already knows, but I was like, I need to show him. And so anyways, anticipation was crazy. They delayed the mint because they had all kinds of problems.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm losing my mind. I'm honestly not even sure. I'm not even sure if I told my wife. Like, she knew about it, but I don't think she knew about the delays and all this stuff. So I was so excited. And then the next Tuesday rolls around, and it was the day we minted them, and I minted them at work and did the whole process of getting your redeem and all that stuff. I was at work. It was so funny. I called Primo. I'm like, dude, listen, we got to do this at 8:30, 9 o'clock. The kids go to bed. Excuse me. So I hit up Doughboy and I was like, listen, dude, can I come see you at 9 o'clock? He's like, yeah, dude, for sure. I was like, don't worry about it, dude. I'll be there at 9 o'clock. Primo had just bought a new phone, so he was 20 minutes late. So I rolled up to Doughboy's house. He lives 3 minutes from me. We're sitting outside. I'm literally sitting outside his house in my car, and he comes out to take the trash out, and he sees me, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just give me a few minutes. I'm on the phone. And so anyways, we waited for 20 minutes. Primo rolls up. It's so funny, dude. Doughboy has no idea why we're there. He's like, yo, Primo's here? What's going on? It was terrible light. So I was like, dude, turn your garage lights on, pull your cars out. Listen, dude, just put some lights on. We need some good lighting. Primo's not saying anything. Doughboy has no idea what's going on.
He's probably just totally lost.
Yeah. I don't even know what he thought we were going to give him or do. And so I just go from there, and I just went for it, and his reaction was crazy, man. Threw his phone.
Through the phone. I mean, that's classic.
It was really cool because, my wife had said, is he going to know if you do this before you get there? And I was like, no, there's no way he's going to know that I airdropped it to his OpenSea. You know what I mean? I got his wallet a couple weeks before that. I planned this extensively, and he had no idea. And we just, it was so funny. He was so excited. He was crying, and it was just so meaningful. I was wearing my Kind sweatshirt, which he bought for me, actually. So it was a perfect moment. And he actually got the Suffocate Hate, which was, I have goosebumps right now, which is perfect VF2 for him. He has struggled with that so much in his life. And his sister passed about 4 years ago. And so it was the perfect all around situation. And, what's funny is, so Tuesday was when we posted the video. Did we post it on the 19th? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So we shot it on a Monday night. So we posted it Tuesday morning, and it was wild, man. It was just crazy, the traction we were getting. And then Gary posted it in the Discord, and that's when it went berserk.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. I was literally working in the morning getting my truck ready. My truck had a flat tire. So I was in not panic mode, but I was got to figure stuff out so I can get on the road. And Kyle comes onto my truck, and he's like, dude, Gary just posted in the Discord. And I see just I can't even look at my phone. It's absurd, the amount of notifications. And it was just a wild experience. Gary followed both of us. I was just absolutely I went home that day. I went home early from work because I was just I need to respond back to all these people. Yeah. I stayed up till 12 o'clock that night. I told my wife, and she's so mad at me, but I was I have to respond back to every single comment. I was this is so awesome. So it was just a perfect moment.
Yeah, totally. I can't. It's such a special thing to get plastered out there, because that's that's it. Like that's what this
Yeah.
whole thing is about right there. And
Yeah.
like it's just a really signature moment, and especially like, there's been things and people, with the market and people, there's some FUD out there, and then this thing with the alpaca, there's a lot of shit out there. Not a
Yeah.
lot, but like people, it takes people very little time to forget like what this is all about, and like whether it's the project or certain characters, and that video just like encapsulates it all. And then to have Gary sign off on it by saying,
Yeah.
this is it. Like this moved me. This is what it's all about. I can't even imagine. So, I mean, that's just amazing. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah. It was really
And
cool that he had posted like, that it meant something to him, and because I felt like it was the perfect representation of the VeeFriend community.
absolutely, 110%. 100%. And shout out to Primo for the great shots and for being there. And you mentioned the Kind sweatshirt, but I watched it back today, and I also spotted you wearing the K Swiss
Yep.
003s.
Yep. Clouds and dirt.
Throwback. Amazing. So let's, and actually while we're on Doughboy, and I saw your, I was watching some of your gratitude, and I can't wait to hear the origin story of that. But this is on behalf of speaking for all of America, when are we getting Groovin' Mondays back? Because I saw one and I wrote it down. You posted on it was like a throwback Thursday from April 21st. And I was like, who's that dancing with Doughboy? And I was like, holy shit, that's you. You had the slick back hair and like just the stash going. It was just an amazing, amazing experience. And I need to find it and post it out. Holy shit. When can the VeeFriends Nation expect a Groovin' Monday?
Dude, I mean,
I'm putting you on the spot.
yeah, I can start posting them, but here's the thing: I dance every Friday, so every Friday is a dance video for my gratitude videos. But I'm down to throwback Groovin' Mondays because me and Doughboy used to dance it up, man. We used to dance, so maybe I'll start just throwing it back. Maybe I will.
Saying you were dancing it up is underselling what you were doing. It was amazing, and I need to tweet it out. I don't want to take all my attention away from this conversation, but I need to tweet it out.
It is pretty funny.
Like whatever the Twitter version of bump is, like that needs to be constantly bumped. So speaking of that, if first of all, if you're not following Live Hyped Gentle, you have to. You started a Days of Gratitude, daily gratitude. He puts out a video. It started just camera to face, and then it slowly evolved into explosions, sitting, going from 0 to 60, dancing. One of my personal favorites is day number 107, where you're shaking off negativity, Mariah Carey. You're just killing it. So can you talk to us about the origin story of that? I didn't go all the way back, but you probably started sometime in the winter.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe, well, we're on day 153 right now. So, dude, man, I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know when we started, but yeah. So it's kind of funny. I've talked about it quite a bit on my podcast lately. Is like, I was doing maybe like 2-3 years ago, every day was doing a gratitude journal. Every single day I woke up, I was write what I was grateful for. They were a little bit more extensive than the gratitude videos, because it's a little bit more personal stuff. And I have, pages of pages of pages, to the point where like my dad would tell people like, hey, this my son has a gratitude journal and stuff. And I was like, you don't need to tell people that or whatever. So it was cool. Like I've lived through that because of Gary, and I've doubled down on it because in my day job, I'm so surrounded by negativity and obviously in the world. And, so I just doubled down on that. And I was just like, once I kind of got a little bit of traction in the Nifty, I think it was like February I started, I want to say. I was like, why am I not doing a gratitude video every day? Like, why wouldn't I do this? Like, this is the best thing ever. Excuse me. Sorry. To share my energy with people. And like, I really feel like I was gifted this. So I've always been like this. Why wouldn't I want to share, this with the world and give one person's day better? And so, it started, and I had maybe like couple likes, couple views for the first probably 30 videos. Literally, I don't even know. Like no one was interacting. I had no followers. It was totally fine. I just loved it. And then it kind of started getting more intense, and people really like it, and people look for it. People watch the dance videos for sure, which I just absolutely love because it starts your Friday off with just a bang. And I talked a little bit on my podcast I was like, it really keeps me grounded too. Like I love helping people for sure. That's like my goal in life, but it helps me stay grounded in gratitude. And I don't love my job that I do now. And so like I have a wall of photos of my family, of just
Mm-hmm.
anything that means anything to me. And any time that I am like wanting to complain, I just look up there and I just turn straight to gratitude. And that has helped me be the positive person that I am today.
That's amazing. And, hats off to you for not only doing that because, you know, practicing gratitude is amazing. Like, and then like Gary says, like it's armor for the day. Like if that's your foundation, like you're bulletproof, metaphorically speaking, right? Like it's hard to get upset, like back to the 400 trillion one, it's hard to get upset
Yeah.
over, someone spilling something on you or whatever. So kudos to you for that. But to do anything for 157 or whatever consecutive days, like you just have to feel up leveled. You have to feel like awesome. Like, am I wrong?
No, it's cool, man. It really is. Like, I went to NFT NYC, and I was at the Nifty Portal party, and I luckily I've been like, kind of like Gary, like I don't have the noise in my head. I don't think I'm special. I've been able to develop that like in my life to where like naturally I was very good at a lot of things like sports and stuff. So I had to stay like down low to where I had to humble myself always to where I'm just nobody. I'm just a normal dude. I was never bigger than anybody. I was never faster than anybody. I had to work hard for it. So, like, yes, and I've 153 gratitude videos, but I just think I'm a normal dude. And so when I went to NFT NYC, I was at the party. People would literally come up to me and they would be like talking to their friend, and they'd be like, "This is Gentle Tornado. He's on episode 130 of his gratitude videos." And I just thought that was like the coolest thing because they were just concreting it to someone else, like what I'm doing. And so it wasn't like I was famous or anything. It was just like he's doing it out here. And that's kind of what my goal is, to like show people like anybody can do anything. You can be whatever you want. You just got to work your ass off, be good, do good things, give. And so, I can't wait till gratitude day 300. That's where my mind's at.
Totally. And like, yeah, that you said it perfectly. Like you're doing it. Like no matter what it is. Like how hard is it for someone to go to the gym for day one, like one time, let alone day two, day three? Like you're doing it. And obviously that you are made up the way you are. Like you're very outgoing. You're like I said, you're a ball of energy, and right, and it just comes naturally to you. But like even for someone that maybe on the other side of the fence and more introverted and like is not going to dance to Mariah Carey or freaking throw off your jacket like in an unbelievably awesome fashion, but they could do a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
They could sit for 4 minutes a day, and it's a practice, and it's something that people are going to see and probably emulate in their own little way. So
Yeah.
like you are doing it, and that's what
Thanks.
this is all about.
Once
Talk to me about episode number 95.
95. What was
Do
that?
you know what 95 is?
Uh-uh.
I'll tell you. So episode 95 was May 22nd, 2022. It was the Sunday of VCon, and you had a
Oh
special
man.
guest on.
95. How can I forget? Oh my
You
gosh.
you know who the guest is.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
So
Wild, man.
you had Gary V on, and actually I don't know if you remember this, we were kind of in line early together
Yep.
with the early crowd doing it. But talk to us about that brief episode.
So I'll give a little bit of backstory. So I had been, I'm a big manifester. So I just been talking about it for the longest time. Like, I can't wait to get to VCon. I can't wait to do a gratitude video with Gary. It's going to be perfect. He probably has no idea that I do these. And so Thursday night was the welcome party. I got there pretty early. Was in line to see Gary. Waited for whatever 5 hours. Was probably 7 people back and didn't get to see Gary. So that was a huge hit immediately. I was so excited, but I turned like straight to kindness, like right after we didn't see him, because I was pretty down, that I had made the choice to wait that time for him, right? So I put the accountability on myself. And one of the dudes I met there, Jake, who is now a very good friend of mine, he reached over and got 2 of my empathy wine bottles signed. And so immediately after we didn't get to meet Gary, I gave him one of the bottles, just as like a, dude, you're the best. I'm so glad we met. And kind of, just made me feel better about, like, it was a little rough situation, you know what I mean, to wait 5 hours and not see Gary. And so then fast forward Friday, Saturday, I was like not focused on meeting Gary. I was focused on networking, meeting people, watching the speakers. So then I was like talking to Doughboy. I was like, dude, we literally have to get a selfie with Gary. There's no option. Like, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and go wait in line. We're seeing Gary no matter what. And so Sunday, I was like, dude, I don't think I can get up at 5. Like, I really got to sleep. Like, I'm a wreck. We've been out just getting it the last 3 nights. And Doughboy was like, I'll wake up. He's like, I'll wake up at 4. He's like, don't worry, I'll be there. I was like, listen, dude, I want you to like do this out of the fact that you want to do it. I don't want you to just do it because you think you have to. And he literally wanted to. He was the first person there. So he made a bunch of friends with people that he waited in line with. We showed up at like 6, I think, or something, like not long after that. And he actually met May. So May came out to see who was in line, and he talked to May. May knew who he was because of the video. He said the whole team knew who we were. So May followed him. He was ecstatic. So that was super cool. The fact that she knew who he was. He was so pumped up. I was so happy for him. I instantly was like, dude, you were meant to come here and stand in this line at this time. And so anyways, the doors opened. It was kind of a mad dash. The friends that Doughboy had made got us up in the front, right? So we didn't run to the line, but we were up in the front, maybe like 10 people back. And I just like, that was super early. And I just remember like, Doughboy was like, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? I was like, no, you go first, dude. I was like, you showed me Gary. I was like, you need to go first. And I got super emotional. I was like, I called my wife. I was probably like, he hadn't even started yet. I called my wife. I was like, I started crying. I was like, this is insane. Like, this guy has like literally changed my life in so many ways, for my family, for me, for other people in my life. I get a little choked up here talking about it, but she was like so surprised. I'm a pretty emotional dude, like just naturally. I'm super emotional. I cry at a lot of the leadership programs I go to. I cry at. I just get like so pumped up, And
of course.
So I called her. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So we get up, and Doughboy goes, and he like slams his backpack down. It was the funniest thing. He was like, no way. Like, he screamed. Normally what I would do, he did it. And so it was like so awesome to watch him do that. Gary knew exactly who he was. And I just kept saying in line, like, dude, if Gary knows who I am, like, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, I'm just like going to be like, how does this happen that he knows what what I've done? And so he knew Doughboy. And so I told the guy that was working the booth, I was like, listen, dude, he's like, do you want a photo or do you want a video? And I was like, listen, dude, this is Gratitude Day 95. I was like, I have it on film. Actually, I haven't posted it, but I was talking to the dude. I was like, dude, I'm literally doing a video, but I have to get photos. I was like, this is 95. Like, I'm getting this Gratitude Day video. I don't care if it's 5 seconds. And so he was like, dude, that's so awesome. And so literally, dude, I started walking up to Gary, and he pointed at me. And he started like talking, and I just started crying, dude. He was he said, what you did for your boy was the realest thing I've ever seen. And I just lost it, dude. I was like, we hugged it out. It was incredible. The photo we took, I was literally like, because I was crying. It was amazing.
The tweet isn't the sign off. That's the ultimate sign off. Like the face to face. That must.
It was cool. And then we did the gratitude video. You couldn't even hear him, but you could read his lips, and it was perfect. He said, just be grateful for what you have. And it was literally the perfect one.
Totally. And that's amazing. You were able to get that. He was burning and churning that day.
Yeah.
I was up there too. And he did not want to send anyone home without, getting some face-to-face time. So that's amazing. And that's like, I mean, especially with your story and your journey, who better than that to be featured?
Yeah.
So
I did AJ when I was in New York. I don't know what day it was, but I did AJ. That was cool.
I missed that one. All
Yeah.
right, well, I'll look back. I need to binge the whole season. The whole season, year one. That is amazing. So, I mean, you're just putting out so much goodness with those, and the dancing, and hopefully Groovin' Mondays, and just showing up into all of these spaces. Like whenever I'm, how it shows like in all the the menu of spaces. Like you're always, if I click on one, you're always on stage. Like you're always in one. So like, how do you? And I know you have a lot of young ones, just like on a personal level. And I'm not trying to pry. I'm just trying to get like real, dad to dad advice. Like, how do you like manage all of like, because you're in it, like you're really part of a community. Like, what's the balancing act for you? Do you have set
So,
hours or what?
kind of. So my wife, I'm big advocate on transparency. I'm transparent in every aspect of my life. Like I would literally tell you anything about me. That's how I've been for the longest time. And I think it's just catapulted me in my life, because people know how genuine I am because I'm always telling the truth. I'm always telling them who I am. And so I'm that way with my wife. I feel like you have to be in a marriage, and she's known that I've hasn't liked my job for the last 8 years, and I love NFTs and I love the Web3 space, and so she's been so supportive. And it is a lot. I'm doing a lot. I'm doing I'm filming podcasts. I'm doing content. I'm in spaces. I'm buying NFTs. I'm reading the market. There's so much, and so what I've had to do is balance it, right? So going back to my balanced Beetle, it's something I've always been working on. I've been working on it since I bought the Beetle, since before that, for the last 5 years, because I'm the type of person that goes 110%. I don't do 50%, and it's a good and a bad thing. So, I knew once I got into NFTs, I was going to go 110%, but I have to balance that, right? Because I do have 3 small children. I just had my 3rd baby in March. So it's like,
Congrats. Yeah.
thank you. So it's a whole nother, curveball. But I like to tell people like every aspect of my life, besides like maybe weekends, I would say is regimented or I don't know. Regimented. I don't know what the word is, but so like
Regimented?
yeah. That's so I wake up. I'm waking up at 4:45. I go to work. I work till sometimes a lot of times 6:30. I'm home. I'm home with the kids. No phone. Um, I'm home with the kids, no phone, put the kids to bed, normally spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes with my wife, quality time, no phones, excuse me. And then I'm hard. I'm hard till 10:30. 10:30, boom, I'm out, right? And I've started lately to add 30 minutes of workout in there. So I bought a heavy bag, which I advocate to everybody. It's the best
Nice.
workout. It's the fastest workout, where you can go super hard, get a good workout in. So I'm just super calculated is what I would say. Like when Gary talks about how efficient he is when he's awake, that's what I've had to do. I've been forced to do. And especially, with me starting a podcast is like, I have everything scheduled. Everything's scheduled right now. And it's forcing me to be better in every aspect of my life. You know what I mean? Like this, like scheduling this with you, but having other podcasts scheduled this week. I need to edit podcasts. So I really have to be on a tight schedule and make the time count. And so, me and my wife are so close. So we don't need a ton of time to spend together. And then I'll have like, okay, a Saturday's like, that's Saturday, Sunday, that might be all family. That's all family, or maybe all day Saturday, right? Or one night of the week, it's just my wife. We watch a movie or something where I'm not doing anything NFT related. And so you have to find those balances, right? Like my wife knows that, if I do extra work right now, then maybe in a year I say I own an NFT project, I have more free time to where like I can take weekends off every weekend, right? And so she knows that I have to do this right now because I've been very vocal about that to her. And so, I would say transparency, but also like being really on schedule.
I love it, and I appreciate that. It's hard, and the thing you said that I need to do adopt, but need to do it more purposefully and regularly is just the phone's away. Like if it's
Yeah.
there, it's in the pocket, if it's on the table, like it's just too easy to get caught
Yeah.
up in another 9-minute rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. So like you talked about putting things out there and manifesting. Where and you also mentioned that you don't love exactly what you're doing. Like in a year, let's say July 2023, after VCon, do you want to be working in Web3 somewhere? Is that kind of where you'd love to land?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that my goal is to start my own NFT project. And then another goal of mine is my podcast for sure. Like I think ultimately if I can do my podcast, that would be incredible for me. But I do want to start. I will start an NFT project no matter what. I don't know if that's my exit to my current job, but that's like ultimately what I can do with Hyped and the utility that I can bring to people through an NFT project is, I think, so valuable. So yeah,
Let's.
I think I can do that.
I was gonna talk about it at the end, but let's. It's a nice segue now. What inspired you? So first of all, it's Hyped Happy Hour. The handles live hyped. Give us the acronym.
So Hyped is
Hyped.
it's HIPED, so it's not HYPED. HIPED, and it stands for happiness, inspiration, positivity, enthusiasm, and dreams. And the logo is on my shirt, but it's an H with a heartbeat in the middle. So we never know how many heartbeats we have. And so, I'm a big advocator in one life. We have one life. We have limited amounts of heartbeats. So we don't ever know what's going to happen in our life. And so I truly believe if you live the words within Hype, that you can amplify your life to the next level. And it doesn't have to be every single word. I'm more enthusiastic than I am happy a lot of times. And so you could be individual words, but I think if I can bring awareness to those words and help people become more self-awareness within those words, then it could really elevate their life.
Amazing. And I've you've put out a handful of episodes. I haven't listened to them all, but what I have listened to is just fire. Like it's just you, which I'm bullish on. So what you kind of dropped a couple little inklings in here of what you'd like to happen in the future, but what was the final straw to say, okay, I'm doing this. Like I want to do this podcast.
Um, Probably VCon. Like I was just like, when Gary said make positivity louder at the very last day, I was just like, you know, I've been searching for a way to do something else, but something that I want to love. Because I've learned so much from the business that I'm in, and I feel like I can do anything. And I've been so grateful to learn the lessons that I've learned running the business. And so I was like, I don't want to transition to something that I just is going to be another job with maybe more money, because I don't want more money. I want something that I want to wake up every morning and love. And the podcast was like just so cool because my niche is me. And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand that until they interact with me or see me. And what's funny is I did last Sunday, or yeah, so 2 days ago, I did Pio, who's one of the owners of the Nifty Portal, and he said to me after we finished recording, he said, when I met you, I thought you were going to be super off the wall, just some crazy dude that was just out of control, and you totally weren't. And I said to him, I said, obviously I'm a tornado. I said, but I've had to learn, how to use that, how to use my enthusiasm, how to be the type of person I am in different situations, right? I sell very high end stuff, and I feel like I don't feel like I know that enthusiasm has helped me get to the success level I've gotten. And I doubled down on the one life thing, man. We got one life, and why wouldn't you want to be excited every day of your life? Because there's other people that don't have that opportunity. There's other people that don't have clean water. It's all the things that Gary says, but I, get a little bit more excited about it than Gary, right? So I have a little bit different of a take on like how I've lived my life, and the achievements that I've achieved being just a normal guy.
Amazing. 100%. 100%. And I'm curious because we're in very similar spots, because I just started this project and you're a handful of episodes in. Is there, at this juncture, is there something surprising that you're feeling or thinking, like, oh, I didn't think this was going to happen, or I didn't think I'd feel this way? Do you have any kind of reflective like surprises, or?
Do you have any? And then do you have any?
Yeah.
I would
And
love for
maybe
you to answer, and then I'll answer.
Sure, yeah. So I started this as a way to, well, it checked a lot of boxes. But the big reason I started this was I wanted to document the early stages of not only the project but this community, and really pull out, because everyone throws around that word community, like we love our community, we have the best community, but I really feel like this is the strongest, or one of the strongest, and I really wanted to dig deep into why that is. Plus, get the origin stories. I'm a nerd. I love a good origin story, like for anyone, doesn't matter who you are. I'm very interested in how people got to where they are today. But now, that's how I started. But now I'm like, holy shit! Like, this is getting to chop it up with you or Jeremy, or Alyssa Stevens, like people for an hour. Like, you just can't get that. Like, we're deep into marriages and fatherhood. Like, you just can't do that all the time. So like, I get to really. And it's one thing to hear about people, how they answer a question in space or share a story in space, but like when you really get one on one, it's a whole different ball game. So I really, really am loving that. That's more of a selfish thing, but it's something I didn't think about when I, pressed play on episode 1.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think I would second that 100%. I think selfishly, I love it as well. And I love, getting to know these people more. And, my thing on mine is that I want to interview everybody. I had my next episode is an NFL tight end. I want to, interview people that have no following, because I feel like their information is just as good and is meaningful to the same level. Nobody's better than anybody. And so I have found kind of a way to dig deep into people in a very genuine way, to where they feel super calm doing it and talking about their life and talking about the things that they've been through. So that's been the most exciting for me, to where I feel like I can make people feel safe, and talk to like Pio, for example, about things he's never said, for sure, because he doesn't want to be judged. He doesn't want, hate thrown at him, and talk about just like really meaningful things. It's going to give a lot of value to a lot of listeners. So that's been cool for me. It's been really just like soothing. I think that I can create a safe place for someone.
Sure, because like it's very easy to read energy, and like you said yourself, you're very transparent. So it's inviting your guest or your counterpart to do the same.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I talked about a little bit about community. What does that word mean to you? Community.
Probably I would say family is the first thing that came to my head. I don't know if that's necessarily what it is yet. But I think like a group of people, like-minded people that maybe want the same end goal. That's probably what I would say.
What do you think stands out about the VeeFriends community?
Probably,
if anything.
Yeah, probably like kindness and kindness, and there's a lot of good things, a lot of good energy, a lot of giving from the VeeFriends community. I also think there's a lot of lack of accountability in the VeeFriends community. I think that people don't talk about a lot. Like it was kind of funny experiencing that wait for 5 hours with Gary. How many people cut me in line, and it was fine, right? Like whatever. I don't have any ill will towards anybody ever. I don't ever feel that way, but it was kind of funny. Like there's totally the opposite message of what Gary preaches, and patience, and, caring about other people. And so, I think you do find those things, but I think more accountability can come out, I think, in the VeeFriends community. But I think genuinely like positive people. That's what I would say. Positive people that are willing to give and help other people.
I love it. What would you like to, and you're doing it every day, but I'd love to hear from the horse's mouth. What do you want to give to this community?
Ooh, what do I want to give to the VeeFriends community? Probably just myself, my energy. There is a lot of people that have energy similar to mine, and a lot of times I think people feel like they can't go there, or they're afraid to go there. You know, they don't want to be judged. And it's like, just being yourself is the best thing in the world. Helps you sleep at night, helps you do other things in life, helps you create relationships with people. Um, you know, because of the person that I am, I've gotten to different places in my life. I've met different people in my life. I've created relationships. You know, AJ, when I met AJ Vaynerchuk in New York, he knew exactly who I was because I got up on a space and I just went absolutely nuts and gave him so much good energy and flowers. And it's like, I didn't do that for show. I didn't do that for his follow. I didn't do that for any other reason than just to give him good energy, right? And I wanted him to feel the love that I had for him. So I feel like I'm a ball of love and I'm a ball of energy. And so I want to give that to everybody I interact with. And I think I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared of whatever anybody thinks of me. And I think if I could give anything, it would be to truly be yourself, whether that's, you know, an introvert or an extrovert.
That's awesome. And and I'm not just blowing smoke. I was going through our DM when we were getting ready for this. I ended up at the top somehow, and it took me back to like one of those times in March where we first interacted. But it was the first time I had gone on stage in a space. Um, because I think I from what I remember, it was just your energy, and like I felt like, okay, like I could throw some balls around with these guys and hang, and it was just so inviting, and it just kind of like I had forgotten about it, but seeing that DM brought me back there, and I was like, all right, I like this guy's energy. It's safe. It's like it's everything you're talking about. And I'm not bullshitting, because like it literally just happened an hour ago. I was looking at the DM, but no, like you're totally right, and I think the more you put out, it's just numbers. Like you're going to do that for more and more people every day. And like I was timid to go on stage, and now like here I am, like hosting a podcast, and now I have the space running, right? So it's amazing, the domino effect, especially when you think about it in a positive way.
Yeah, and you're crushing it, dude. You're crushing it with with the content and the clips that you've done have gotten real engagement that's so good. And I think like you just keep giving, you just keep doing that good stuff, and you just get so much in return. Like when I did Jeremy's episode, I've been on this kick of just this winning streak mentality. You know, I was blessed with a YouTube video that just changed my perspective even more, and it was all like around winning streaks and starting your morning off with a winning streak. And Jeremy, like I met Jeremy one time in New York. We had a probably 4-hour conversation, but I ended with giving him those winning streaks. And he was one of the first things he talked about on the podcast was he's been focused on the winning streaks. And so it was like, you know, we had kind of talked about it earlier, but like the fact that I was able to help him in that way meant more to me than so many things in my life to give him that positivity and that mindset.
Yeah, he's a special guy. He is first class.
Yeah.
Do you have? You mentioned Balance Beetle. Do you have? Is that your favorite? Like, if you had to pick one, your flagship character, or is there another one you resonate with?
No, that's probably it. Yeah, I honestly like I need to do more research and more work into the characters, but you know, Gratitude Gorilla is pretty cool because I'm great. You know, I love Gratitude, but it doesn't really resonate with me that hard. My second VF1 that I have is a Noble Numbot, and I love that because I love knights and I love how noble they were and what they did in history. And I'm a noble person. You know, my word means everything to me. So again, not a very, very sought after character, but you know, it meant something to me. And so that's why I bought it.
I love it. So obviously you have the energy, you have the humility, you have so many amazing traits. Is there any character that you feel like you would need to spend more time with to kind of extract their characteristics?
I don't. I honestly, I don't. I don't think so. A lot of time, like a lot of things in my life, I wasn't the best sharing. So I actually got a VF2 of Sharing Squirrel on in Collector's Corner. So it's pretty sick.
So you're spending time with him.
Yeah. So immediately when I got it, I wanted to give it away. That's how I felt immediately. I was like, I need to give this away. this is, I wasn't the best at sharing when I was growing up, and I think this is why I got it. So I've been thinking of doing a giveaway with it. I just don't know how to do it. I want to get someone that doesn't have a VF2, and I want it to mean something to someone. So that is definitely on the plans. But I don't know for sure. I'm not too deep in the characters to be honest with you, because like I said earlier, like I just got so much going on and I'm not even worried about it, right? I don't, I want to buy 5 more VF2s, but it's like, it's not necessarily a which character kind of thing for me, because I don't care that much about the money, and they all mean something to me. So it's not like a very specific thing. And it's kind of funny because when I bought my second VF1, I was with Adam. I talked to Adam a lot. Adam Rips, shout out to Adam Rips. He's a legend. And every other one was worth so much more, like value, not money, but value. And I ended up getting the Noble Numbot just because it meant something to me. And
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Amazing. Before we wrap up with our last segment here, is there anyone in the VeeFriends community out there that you like to give a rose to?
Give a rose to? Dom.
Shout.
Dom. I don't even know how to say his last name. Rouz. I fucking love that guy. I hope he's listening right now. He Dom's is on the Spaces. That's my guy, dude. That's my boy. We ride.
Dom, we do ride. Dom's a huge supporter of this podcast. So shout out to you, Dom. Like, we see you, and like, honestly, like Gary says all the time, like if one person, if you're saying something, one person's listening, like it's all worth it. And I truly feel that. Yeah. Truly feel that. So I mean, shout out to everyone in here. And I wish this was a format where I could put people on stage. Maybe we will. I don't know. But yeah, thank you. So before we get into the last segment, is there anything? Well, let's spell everything out. You guys got to follow at Lived Hyped. He's got a Linktree in there. It's the Hyped HIPED podcast. It's amazing. You guys need this energy. I need this energy, and just to be grounded and reminded of the gratitude every day. Will you go on the record right now and say you'll do another Monday dance video?
100%. Does it have to be
Groovin' Monday?
Does it have to be live, or can it be like a past video?
As long as you, we preferably one from 2022.
You give me a song then. Give me a song and I'll do it.
Oh boy. Okay, on the spot. Let's Danza Kuduro.
What is that?
You don't know Danza Kuduro? I'll send it to you.
I'll dance to it. I don't think I will.
All right. That's like my go-to like wedding song. Like no matter the situation, I got to get out there and cut some rug if that song comes on. So all right. So Groovin' Monday with that. We'll look out for that. All right. It's on the record, folks. All right. Groovin' Mondays is back. So please, no, but in all seriousness, please follow Dom's or Gentles, all his stuff. So this last segment is called Micro Macro Spitfire. So I'm going to rattle off a whole bunch of questions. You could give a really quick, simple yes, no, one word answer, go in the macro, or you can get really specific as to why and go a little micro. All right.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Who is someone that needs to be followed in the VeeFriends community if you're just getting in right now?
Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy. Jeremy knows.
Your favorite teacher growing up and one reason why?
It's a tough one, dude. Miss Schumacher. She was the kindest person in the entire universe.
What grade?
3rd.
The Time Machine Tiny Ogre can be traded for what?
Oh, minting a new character, like one of the new characters in a VF1 version.
If there's something happened and you're only physically allowed to keep one social media platform, what are you keeping?
Twitter.
Woody or Buzz?
What are my what?
Woody or Buzz Lightyear? Toy Story characters.
I'm sorry. What year?
Woody the cowboy or Buzz Lightyear? Who's your guy?
Woody, 100%.
You're a Woody guy. Okay.
Ride or die, baby. It's my guy.
Nickelodeon. I'm just laughing because I had to repeat that so much. It's a totally out of left field. So
I love it. I love it.
It's amazing. You guys have to watch that back on video. Nickelodeon or Comedy Central?
Nickelodeon. Wait, now or back in the day?
In your glory days, in your prime.
Oh, I mean Nickelodeon, but the Dave Chappelle show, I mean, is like, on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon. I grew up on Nickelodeon.
All right. I know you're a Vegas guy. Most underrated casino in Las Vegas?
Most underrated casino. Let's go with, I'll go on a smaller end. We'll go Suncoast. Higher end. I don't ever go downtown, dude, but probably underrated. Dude. Maybe the Mandalay Bay. Man, it's not really underrated, to be honest. I don't know, man. That's Suncoast, good gambling hotel because there's not a lot of mainstream people, so you can win a lot more money. Shout out, that is financial advice. But main hotel, I would say I do like the Cosmopolitan. I've probably been there a couple times, but Mandalay Bay is underrated, I would say now.
What's your go-to place if you go down there to eat?
Never. Sorry, that was
just
intense.
never avoid it.
No, me and my wife don't.
I get it.
Yeah, like it's like, what's funny is a lot of people in the NFT space are from Miami, and it's kind of the same thing. They all tell me, like, because I'm always like, "You're from Miami," and they're like, "Oh yeah, but we don't go down to Miami." But like, there's like a suburb around Miami, so it's kind of like so similar to Vegas. Like, the only time I go down to the Strip, to be honest, like, me and my wife actually just went on the first date we've been on in 3 years. And it was like date was to the UFC fight. I took her to the UFC. We were obsessed with UFC.
Saw that.
Yeah. So
I was super jealous.
Yeah. So that was like unbelievable. But other than that, man, we used to go to the Golden Knights games, but we don't do that anymore. We just don't go to the Strip because we're not like fancy dinner people. We have like, I've lived here so long. So like, I'm Italian. And the best Italian place in Vegas is called Pasta Mia, and it's right off the Strip, and it's not very expensive. And so it's kind of actually a little funny story. My wife used to be a nanny before we had our kids, and she used to make really good money. She worked for a very wealthy family, and one time the husband was like, "You and your husband go out to dinner. You guys spend up to like $500. Use my credit card." And so my wife was like, "Let's go up to the Eiffel Tower. Let's go up to there." And it was like this really fancy French restaurant, and we were just like, my wife is not a fancy, like, she doesn't like French food. I'm a pretty picky dude. I'm just being honest. I was willing to go, but I was like, whatever. We went to Pasta Mia and we spent $200, which was like the max amount of stuff we could ever order. We ordered too much, and it was like the best experience we ever had.
I love it. My sister lives out there, so I was trying to pick your brain. Yeah.
No way. That's cool. Where at?
So she's right. I don't know.
Where are you at?
Remember. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, she's like 10 minutes from the Strip. I can't even remember.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to move
kind of
in
between Henderson and the Strip.
That's cool. I work in Henderson. Yeah.
All right, where was I here? All right, Paper Hands Pony or the Koala?
Paper Hands Pony?
Are you a bougie hotel guy or hiking and camping?
Oh, hiking and camping.
Would you rather have a 2-hour group dinner access with Gary, you and let's say 9 other people, or would you rather have a 10-minute one-on-one?
That's fucking tough, man. Probably 10 minutes. 10-minute one-on-one. I do like the group aspect, but I think a lot of times some people get too excited and talk too much.
If you could ask Gary one question, what would it be?
Do you like hyped?
I love it. And one bonus question because it's you. What are you grateful for today?
Oh, man, dude. I'm grateful for the video that my wife sent me. My son's playing at the creek, and she's in Utah. She's out of town right now, and so it's just incredible, man. My son was just electric. He threw a rock into the creek and just started just screaming. So I was like, this is my guy.
I love it. Gentle, I can't thank you enough. Like, I know what it's like having little ones. You're doing the podcast, you have a job, you're in it, and you're just giving 110% to whatever you're doing. So I totally appreciate you being here and being part of this. Like, let's go.
Thanks for having me, dude. I
Let's
love this.
ride,
This was
man.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, thank you. I can't wait to see you again, VCon. Hopefully before. I'll hit you up if I'm in Vegas.
Yes.
All the things.
Absolutely.
All of the above.
Yes. Let's
All right.
go.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.